welcome back everybody, welcome back to the moth-hawk project, and today we're going to be working on the wood again. So on the left side needs to be drawn. Let's go, shall we? So let's get this show on the road. So yeah, today actually it was actually really rainy today. Oh, so cold, so windy, and then always rain. It's not supposed to be raining actually in May. Normally it's supposed to be very warm for the time of the year, but no. It seems that is actually now no longer, which is a little bit of a problem. Not of a problem that I wish to not imply, but yeah, it is a problem indeed. Alright. Now we're going to look for the drawing that we need. That is this part, right? Nope. Nope. Yes, this one. This gives away the color. That's not what I want. That's the line art. Alright. Yes, both of them. Alright. Boop boop boop. And then this is supposed to be then the color. Yeah. Let's put it inside of a map so that we know now what to look for it. That is indeed an idea. Might be very smart to do. Come on. And after this, you know, we can then finally get started again. This way, we actually make sure that all this stuff is actually quite correct. Alright, so this is the sketching part, and this is the drawing part. Alright. I'm gonna be taking a look at what we drew, how we drew. This is all done by let's see. That is indeed drawn by the normal hand part. So if I now pick up the pencil tool, switch to 5, that is intact. That is indeed the same size, but I believe it's not gonna be helping us if we draw. No, that's not gonna be helping us. So we technically should go down for the other version of it. So we should then go for the pencil version. Yep. Let's go for that then. Since that this will fix a lot of stuff that, you know, has been left behind. Oh, this is not the right black. Hold on. Let me see. So this is all drawn by hand, right? Yes, yes, alright. So this is supposed to be then put. If I draw on this like that, would that work? Or is this too? No. It is all drawn by the same tool, so we should then keep it on with the same tool as well. Otherwise we won't be able to get to it. Even though it might look strange, but we need to make sure that we keep on the same tool for the outlines or the lining. Otherwise we won't be able to get to it properly. That is one of the parts that we need to do. Yes. Now we need to make sure this line right here is correct. So we should put like this. Alright. Alright. Now we need to figure out like what we're gonna do with this. So we want to have the achievement that we have these tree roots. So we should then make sure that the tree roots are there. So we want to make sure that that is there. That would work. Now we need to make sure that we have this part right here under control, so we should then move it like this. Or at least have like this. Alright, then we are gonna go from here on, we're gonna go downwards, so it should then be clear that this part right here should be like that. This should then be the part where this part over here is going to be connected to that part, like so. Alright. Now we have connected the two. Now we need to actually make sure that the two look decent. So these are roots that need to be fixed. So we have the root right here. That is going to be going upwards. Yes. That is going to be going upwards. So these are the roots that are going to be going upwards and downwards, so this is all going to be going that way. Alright, I have done that. Now the question, since we want this to be going that way, like this, since we want this like to have like this kind of intertwine, the question is, do we want to have like a second part right over here? Or do we want this to be like, you know, having this second part right here, going the other way around, going like this? Do we want it like that? So do we want to have a two-way connection? Do we want this to be connected like that, so that we have this? So yeah. So if we're gonna go for this kind of approach, that we have two roots that are gonna be connected so that this will look like, you know, this being split off, Which does make sense in some sort of way, which is good. We can then also make sure that we have a second route right here, going from this side to that side. That way we actually have a connection between both paths. Well, then we have a connection again. Right, so we have now this, and that should work. Yes, it should work. This should not be here, this should actually be right over there. This should go fluent, yeah, like so. Alright. Awesome. So now that we have connected the tree with the rest of all the things that we now need to add some more texture to it again. There you go. Alright, so now we have the texture, so now we're gonna go for the texture itself. Let's take a look at this. So this is all texturing. So how are we gonna do this? We're gonna start right here. Make sure that we have put off the colors. Otherwise we're gonna get really confused really quickly. Now we can start. Come on. There you go. Whew. Alright. Yeah, 5 is not gonna be cutting this. Nope. Need to go on this one. And we need to switch this to 3.6. There you go. Now it should work. Excellent. I need to walk like this. But that is not what I picked. That's what I picked. Alright. And this should work. Alright. And now we can then move onwards and fill this up until we need now to fill up this part right here. Otherwise we won't be able to get to it. So we start at the end of it, and then we're going to move onwards to the beginning part. So yeah, this again is going to be taking a long time to finish, but we should be fine, especially right now. There you go. Right. The main issue that we are now having is that we need to draw all of this. So yeah, texturing is going to be taking a while, but I think, well, I believe that it's going to be good for us to have all this texture anyway. Because otherwise we won't have the feeling of, well, wood in it. And since we're doing this just by, you know, baby steps, it should be fine. There you go. Now I need to switch the, come on, now I need to switch the vision again, so we're not doing better, like that. by doing this, you know, we're gonna create field of depth, or well, at least we're gonna create the texture that we want. The main issue is that, well, it takes like, I believe, an hour or two to get this fully done, but I will be fine with that. I will definitely be fine with that. Especially since we are doing our very best to get this thing fully done and functional. And so it begins. You know, we're doing our very best to create the amazing effects that, well, will lead us to new and cool looking wood. And that will be really welcome, because we want to have that texture, we want to have that kind of effect that leads us to all the stuff that we want. The only downside was that it was actually quite hard to do. Well, quite hard to do to get from point A to point B, but it should be fine now. And there you go. We now finally successfully connected from point A to point B with these things, and now we can then get everything now under control. And how big is this gonna be? Well, it's gonna be big. So now that we fixed this part, we now need to fix this part right here to get from there to there. Otherwise we won't be able to fill it up to the right let's put it this way. I need to make sure that it all is in the same lining. So if I would have worked here, it won't work like that. It would have been filled. It would have filled definitely. Well, not indefinitely, but definitely. So yeah, we're gonna be now working on this part right here. Add some new texture to it. Alright, let's see, 25 minutes already. Oh, well, that's doable, that's decent. So once we're done with this, we can then, you know, go forward again. Of course, you know, the hardest part is gonna be starting off, because this is indeed a really hard, you know, this is a really hard thing to do, you know, drawing and then making sure that there is a texture inside of it. Most of this is all, you know, gonna be very generic, but it's gonna be generic not enough to take a look at it. So first we need to start off with some texturing, which is really hard to do because, you know, we're stuck with some parts, and then once we're done with the first part of the texturing, we are then go to the second part. And then, you know, we then finally be able to get to the third part, which is connecting them both. So first we need to get this thing done, then we can continue with the big one, and then from the big one we can then go to the next one and then connect them all together. Of course, you know, that is a really hard thing to do. Yes, true, but it will pay off eventually. So all of this, all of these, you know, all of this wood needs to be all, you know, well, it needs not to be all there. It just needs to be, you know, in between or around it to feel like real wood, or well, real roots that, you know, are wood-like. Yeah, that's the idea. And to make sure that I do that, I need to make sure that I do it correctly. And that takes time. Yes, this is indeed a lot of work. That's why we always have one cap on 1 hour, because otherwise, you know, you're gonna get frustrated and then you don't know where to start. Or worse, you're gonna have like one of your, not spines, one of your fingers snapped? No. Well, the muscles in the fingers are gonna be sore after an hour, because you're using a very tiny motion multiple times in an hour long part, and therefore, you know, the muscles will be like, hey, you know what I like to have? Cramp. Yes, a cramp would be lovely today, would not? And then you're gonna be regretting it. You weren't gonna be regretting that you did like 2 or 4 hours straight just working on this. That is why I always do 1 hour of streaming of this, because, you know, it's already hard enough. And then I also have to deal with this? Oh, hell no. I am not gonna be dealing with cramping or, you know, muscle problems once I'm doing the drawing part, because that would be horrible to do. And yes, we're doing our very best to get from point A to point B, which is a lot of points. Which is a lot of points, but sure thing. Now, let's see. So once we're done with all the roots, by the way, what I'm gonna be doing after the whole damn, you know, root part that we are now drawing and then coloring, is gonna be putting some moss on top of the roots. So I'm gonna be putting some more variety on it, so that it does look like it is a forest and not only roots. It's like, no, you don't see only roots, you also see moss or green stuff on your roots. Why would you see green stuff on your roots? Because, you know, it's wood. A lot of things grow on it. It is not only that. It's a it's a hide. It's a hide on for the tree. The bark on the tree. The bark on the tree will have moss growing on it, or something else like, you know, breaks or bark problems. And those little problems, those little different parts will create a good effect, and that good effect will then eventually, you know, create the right amount of things, and that is important. All right, so that's what we're gonna be doing. these tree barking parts. Ugh, so much work. It's like, you know, working on a deer skin or something like that. That is also very difficult sometimes. This, ooh, this takes a long time. Already feeling it in my. I'm already feeling it in my hands already that it is getting really weighty. That's because of all the motions that I'm doing. I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably 10 motions in one go in 1 second, probably. It's like you have a lot of motions and you need to make sure that those motions are correct. Then you also need to draw, and because you're in a stiff position while drawing, like, you know, you have your pencil in your hands but your motions are stiff, it creates cramps, and those little cramps can add up with big cramps and then eventually be like, ow, my hands, no, I cannot move anymore. Those kind of things are really things that you need to be watching out for, especially if you're doing this really close by. I mean, obviously, once you're doing this is the thing. Also, by the way, did you know that tomorrow, probably my parents are not gonna be home, and then that way I have some spare time left. But I also need to cook for myself, so I'm gonna be probably cooking something good, glorious, awesome, amazing. Probably gonna be cooking something like rice. That would be good. That would be tasty. Or something like a soup would actually be a very interesting thing to go for, but I think I will go for rice. A rice food is actually one of the most easiest way to make, but also one of the hardest things to do. If you don't go for the right vegetables, things go very bad, like things go sour, or they are too spicy or too hot. It all depends on what your kind of spices you use or what for kind of vegetables you use, and well, you know, I normally don't read manuals that much when it comes to food. I always need to have a trial and error on those things. Oh man, this is actually getting really well. It's already getting far, wide, problematic, less problematic. 35 minutes. That's decent. That's doable. And yeah, I am doing pretty well. Well, not as well as normal, but it's doing great. The only downside is that my stomach is still upset. That happens, you know. Takes 4 or 5 days before it actually settles down. But it was worth it. It was fucking worth it. I actually ate some Chinese food in the I actually ate some Chinese food that is actually heavily fatted, so that you know, if you make Chinese food, normally your food of normally if you buy fast food Chinese food, it is different than when you make it yourself, and that is a taste that you know what it tastes like. And well, the main problem was that food actually upsets my stomach, because my stomach is a little bit getting more agitated towards certain types of food, like, you know, heavily food. So, and with the air in the stomach, it does create some kind of effects. I actually was really not frustrated, more like I was disappointed that I had to, you know, have so much air in my stomach that I was like, oh well, now I'm feeling bloated again. God damn it. And that was so painful. It is like, you know, somebody stabbing you in the chest 20 times. Not 20 times, more like gently stabbing you. Like putting pressure on your stomach. Well, you know, you're trying to eat or do something, walk, and it is this burning feeling that is constantly constantly there, which is the main problem. All right. Did that part correct? Yes, I did. Alright, now we're gonna be continuing. The main issue is that we are making sure that all of this is presentable. Alright, now we're gonna go here. Right over here we need to go now. Yes. And we need to change up the image so that we are able to draw on it. I should definitely save before I forget. Yeah. So much work. So yeah, as you already know, for a long time, I never use any music while recording this or live streaming it. I don't know. I don't want to deal with the copyright strikes. Yeah, that's the thing. I am sick and tired of those things coming up or popping up whenever I try to do something with music. So I kind of avoid them, and that is actually a good thing because, as you already know, the main thing is that, well, I'm normally using adblock to block off any ads coming my way while watching a YouTube video, but some people can't or cannot afford them or whatever. And I just want to make sure that this place is just as ad free as everything else is, because there's nothing more problematic or annoying than just having this great commercial, or having you suddenly you're watching something and then something pops up like, I don't know, free toothbrushes for one, if you get one free, that kind of thing. Stupid. Get one rock free when you buy another rock now at Rock Sansom. Yeah, there you go. So Rock Santom's is now selling rocks for free. That kind of ad is fucking annoying. Well, it is blatantly stupid and annoying. And you don't want to have such kind of events popping up while you're trying to explain something, or you having this big giant tutorial, and well, your tutorial just gets halted for like 1 minute or two. Yeah, that is not going to be happening correctly. That is the worst case scenario. Why? Because if you ever know how to learn stuff, it is very important that once you're in the zone, that you stay in the zone. If you then get up and if then somebody puts a gun in your face and shoots you 20 times and then shoots you once, that you suddenly are like, what the hell just happened? And then you suddenly don't remember anything anymore. Yeah. That is a very problematic thing to do. And that's why it is very important that, since that this is indeed a thing that can happen, that the that these drawings need to be recorded without any ads. Otherwise, if you want to look something up, or you want to see something, or you want to remember something, then it won't be able to be remembered. Even though my videos might not be the best of informative or whatever, I'm just like to give people hints, or well, like give people information on what I'm doing, so that other people can see what I'm doing, and therefore if I'm doing it correctly, well, it happens. I also suck at certain other things. I'll tell you that. If I have a drawing and I cannot draw things that I want to draw, then well, I will find my way to do it. I will use trial and error until I find my way out. Normally that is not the case, but in certain cases it is. The moth-hawk project was one of them. I actually did not know how to draw a fucking bird properly, and well, I found out how to draw a fucking face of a bird in what, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes, probably. That's all thanks to having a picture of a bird as a representative thing, which is indeed important once you know that most of this drawing, this drawing itself, needs to be needs to be fully focused. And if something like a bird face or feathers or anything else looks off from the art style that you're currently using and it doesn't look like what it's supposed to be representing, you're gonna have a problem. Because, you know, it is no longer an eye-catching thing. Therefore, because it's no longer an eye-catching thing, it won't work. That is how easy it goes. That's how easy this works. Because the eye-catching thing is a thing that needs to be done to create art that works well in the mind of other people. You know, you want to have something that catches some people's eye, but you also need to make sure that, you know, you don't get distracted too much. But if you give them a gentle push in the right direction, like for instance this background I'm making, this background might look very detailed at first. Yes, true. True. But the idea of this, the idea of the background of this drawing, so the idea of this background part of the drawing is that this represents the it represents the form. So it has a form that has the same effect as an emblem. Yeah? So because it looks like an emblem, and you combine that with all the roots in around it, that creates the shape of the emblem, it will look like it's an emblem and a background. Therefore, you know, putting the bird in the front of the picture. So the bird actually gets pushed in the front without any problems whatsoever. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, while I'm working on the trees in the background, which are going to be inside of the emblem, they are probably going to be having a blur vision on it, which is going to be, you know, which is going to be helping the bird standing outwards into the drawing itself. Of course, this is a very hard thing to do, but I did it already with the boat project, so I know how to do it. It's only now a matter of practice, and, well, you know, practice makes perfect. That is now the thing that I need to make sure. Of course, you know, this probably is not going to be the best time to say that out loud, that this is going to be a very hard thing to do. But it is a thing nonetheless. If we do this, then this is all going to be working well. Also, once I'm doing this, while I'm doing this, I need to make sure that once I'm using the right colors for this, is going to be a very hard thing. The colors are going to be the biggest downside of this wood, because then I need to realize, like, oh well, I need to draw this or that, and I need to make sure that all this or that is going to be in that exact location or exact color to represent the correct drawing part. Now we can see, like, well, how big do we want this to be? Well, you can see that this is going to be like this. So around this part right over here needs to be a set of color. There you go. So this, and then this is going to be like right over here. So, but because of this part right here needs to be, I need to put it right over here. I need to put there, and I need to put there a knife. All right, cool. Just gonna be using this then. Doesn't matter if this is in the texture size of the drawing instead of the other one. And as you can see, this is all gonna be, you know, added into one piece of my drawing. Ooh, difficult, but hard, but doable. That's the idea. Alright. Now I need to double check on this spot right here. Yo. How much did I drew on this? I drew on this on the, not on the same side. I drew this on the same side, so but less big. Well, less big. Or yes, it is less big. Yes, awesome. So if we now add some color to it, I need to double check. So therefore, I need to do this anyway. Save. Come on. Oh boy. Oh boy. Your notification has been remained quiet here. The action center will be taking full actions upon it. Uh-huh. Alright. Thank you. I like to have my color, if you don't mind. Don't mind if I take my color and then, you know, use it on the plane that we want. Get ourselves a sweet ass brush for it. We're gonna add some more color to it. And then we can see if this is the right color, that, well, the right amount. Yes, it is. Awesome. So it works. It just works. Regardless of what I did, just back there, regardless of what I did here, it just works. That is amazing, because that actually is already really helpful for me. Because since we're doing this like that, I'm just gonna be filling this up so that we have like a straight point of view to see where, what, and how it all works. So yeah, this is actually looking pretty well. I like it. It already looks like a decent amount of wood. It already looks like wood. It feels like wood. It acts like wood. So that's good. Since it acts like wood and feels like wood, it is very important. Now we've done that, we now are removing the little bits that we don't need. Come on. Oh, you're gonna be saving this, aren't you? Alright. Warning, it's getting big. No shit, Sherlock, it's getting big. Of course it's getting big. If it would not have been big, I would have not done this. As I said before, it is indeed very important that we keep up the colors. Or well, it is important that we make the textures, because the texture actually creates the wood structure. And with the texture wood structure, we can then, you know, follow up with the rest. That's the idea. Looks like it's almost time, so after this I will be leaving it again. And tomorrow I will need to be doing some cooking, so I don't know if I have some time to draw. Probably I will have, because it's 7 o'clock when I normally draw, so I have my high hopes for it. I have my hopes. Alright. And as you can see already, it actually works really well, which is important. Because it works really well means that we are doing a great job creating the wood texture. Alright. How nice. So yeah, I think I'll leave it here. And then hopefully, tomorrow we will be able to get to it. And then, do the rest of the hard drawing. Let's see if I missed something here yet. Yeah, not much. Just tiny bit of detail error. Not too much. Alright. I think that's it. Yep. Come on, save. You dumb idiot. Save. This bad boy takes a long time to save because every single detail of a particle needs to be saved. And to do so, it takes a time. It takes like a loading time. It's like, something like in a game. Anyway, I think that's it for today. Thank you all for watching, and I hope I'll see you all next time. Until then, I wish you all a lovely day. Bye!